October is a big month for travel around Wisconsin. There are lots of places to visit to see the leaves changing colors and also tons of opportunities to do fall activities like apple picking. October is also jam packed with Halloween events. For this month's Wandering Wisconsin, we're going to tell you about the Legends and Lore event at Old World, Wisconsin. For 3 weekends this month, history and Halloween enthusiasts are invited to be immersed in the state's folktales of cryptids and creepy traditions. To learn more, Lake Effect's Becky Mortensen is joined by Old World Wisconsin's General Manager of Experiences, Maria Kaminsky, and Amanda Weibel from Travel Wisconsin.
There are a ton of activities that happen on the 3 weekends of Legends and Lore at Old World, Wisconsin, and we can dig into some of them. But Maria, start by just letting people know what Legends and Lore is.
Happy to. So, Legends and Lore is a signature event at Old World, Wisconsin, where we transform the Crossroads Village into a spooky, family friendly Halloween program. Basically, we have the opportunity to tell a wider range of stories, both brought over from the places from which people immigrated in the 19th and 20th centuries, those sort of myths like Grimm's fairy tales that you're familiar with, and then some local lore as well.
Yeah, let's get into that. People will be able to hear all different kinds of folk tales and history at this event, but can you maybe share one or two of your favorite stories that will be told?
Yeah. So what I really love about folk tales and history together is that we sort of all know the bones of them, but depending on the storyteller, you're always going to get something different. And so a couple of my favorites, we have a theater group from the Kettle Moraine Perform High School who interpret a couple of stories every year. They do Baba Yaga and they do the Knockrop. The Knockrop is a German folktale, and Baba Yaga is an Eastern European one. And every time they present it, it's a little bit different. They put their own spin on it. And so Baba Yaga in particular, she's kind of your typical like mysterious woman who lives in the woods. Some people think she is an evil witch, sort of a la Hansel and Gretel. Some people think that she is a person who helps young women who are in trouble. And every year, the story is a little bit different. So you could come every time and see something that is just a little bit different from the last.
And there's some stories about other cryptids. Many people will have heard of the hodag. I've heard of the Beast of Bray Road, but I have not heard of the Goatmen of Kettle Moraine. What's that story?
So that story, Wisconsin has its own version of a pretty traditional and common urban legend about a mysterious half goat, half man who sort of lives in the woods and comes out and wreaks havoc and maybe does some evil deeds, maybe is just sort of spooky. But our Goatmen in particular, we really like this story because it takes place in the Kettle Moraine. So that is the landscape of Old World, Wisconsin. We're located within the Kettle Moraine State Recreation Area. And the Goatman, he's very mysterious. The kettles themselves are very mysterious. There's sort of these like dips in the earth that were formed long ago by the glaciers that came and receded. And it's almost like they have their own atmosphere, their own weather, and they can be really big or really small. And just that sense of mystery is pretty fun. And then if you add in something that is slightly paranormal, slightly like a cryptid, so the Goatman might come out and terrorize campers. Or in our case, the way that we like to interpret the story is that he actually just wants people to take care of the forest, and he'll just come yell at you if you throw trash in his kettle. So he's really an environmentalist at heart.
Well, that's a nice way of looking at it. Okay, I'm going to read something from Old World, Wisconsin's website. Are you brave enough to partake in an authentic Victorian seance? Bold enough to attend a haunted 19th century funeral? Are these things people can really do at Legends and Lore?
Yes. So the Victorians are interesting because they are sort of obsessed with death and the afterlife and the spiritual world. So we use our buildings as the perfect setting for some of these things. The seance is one of our most popular activities. It's always got line from the start of the event until the end. So be sure not to miss it and get there early if you can. The 19th century funeral is a little interesting as well, because the way that Victorians dealt with death is different from what we do now. So they would hold a lot of things in their homes. They had a lot of rituals that they would perform. The widow would dress a certain way. And so we took all of those customs and put a spooky twist on them. But you'll have to come and see it to find out.
And there are two new things this year. One is the mysterious characters. What can you tell me about them?
So we were looking for a way to incorporate more of our staff and our performers to sort of get involved with the crowd. We have some stories that run on a schedule, and we've got some of our elements that are best enjoyed after dark. So we wanted to have things for people to do and folks for people to interact with while maybe they were waiting in line for a story or waiting for those after dark performances. So we took some well-known sort of urban legend characters. We also are taking some of the typical sort of Victorian stereotypes. Like we're going to have a doctor who is going to make an appearance, and maybe he or she is not quite what they seem.
The other new thing this year is the sorghum maze, which I'm personally very excited for. So what's that experience going to be like?
Yeah, so it's our take on a corn maze. We chose to grow sorghum because our living history programs coordinator is really interested in historic foodways, and he found a variety of sorghum that is specific to Wisconsin. And sorghum is a grass. It's similar to sugarcane. So this particular variety of sorghum, it was easy to plant. It grows really fast, and we're going to cut the maze into it and then give groups of folks their own lantern, and then it'll be their job to find their way through it to the end. So it should be really fun.
And we know the folks sharing the haunted histories and the scary folk tales will be dressed up, but are attendees encouraged to come in costume?
Absolutely. We love to see guests in costume. The only thing that we ask is that you refrain from full face masks. It gets very dark, and we just want to be sure it's a crowded event. We want to be sure that groups, if they get separated, they can find each other easily.
That makes sense. All right, Amanda, Eagle is about an hour drive from Milwaukee, and it wouldn't be a road trip if you didn't make a few stops along the way. What are some things people could do and see on the way to Eagle from Milwaukee?
There are so many options to make it a full day of fun exploring the area. And to me, one key to a good road trip is having great snacks. So if you're looking for some seasonal favorites to bring along, check out the Elegant Farmer in Mukwonago. They are really known for their apple pie baked in a paper bag, which is a really great treat. You're going to want to take it home and bake it at home. Trust me on this, it's going to be amazing. But they also have a full country farm market where you can get other baked goods and treats to enjoy along the trip. And you can even ride a train between the East Troy Railroad Museum and the Elegant Farmer on fall weekend. So that's a really fun daytime activity if you're visiting Legends and Lore on a Saturday. The train does also run on Sundays too. And for something a little unexpected, make a stop at Rushing Waters to do some fishing. That is a fishery in Palmyra, and they actually raise rainbow trout on their farm. I was looking at photos of the fish that people have caught, and it is amazing. It's very impressive. So you're going to have a ton of fun. And the best part is Rushing Waters provides everything you need. They've got the poles, the tackle, the bait, and they will even clean your catch for you if you'd like to take it home.
Are there any places along the way you'd recommend people stop to eat?
Gus's Drive-In in East Troy is a great casual family-friendly spot to eat. You're not going to miss their neon lights, and they also have this massive statue holding a hot dog and a soda. So really fun from the moment you drive up, but they also have those classic drive-in meals. You can get a burger served on a locally baked bun or a gyro that's traditionally roasted on a spit. And of course, don't forget the frozen custard. It is made fresh daily and it's flavored with real fruit. So you're going to want to save room for custard. Now, if you're looking for something a little more upscale, you are really going to be in for a surprise in the tiny community of Genesee Depot. It is home to the Union House, which is this standout fine dining restaurant. They open for dinner starting at 4, so great option to catch an early dinner before filling up on frights at Legends and Lore. And you're definitely going to want to ask what their wild game and seafood features are. They change regularly and they really highlight these dishes that you can't find elsewhere.
Amanda, for people like me who are trying to fit in as many Halloween themed things as they can this month, what are some things people and families could do just on a day trip from Milwaukee?
Well, you have so much to choose from when it comes to Halloween activities in Wisconsin, which is so great. If you want to head south from Milwaukee, you can discover a really fun experience at Racine Zoo's Jack-o'-lantern nights. They have more than 1,000 jack-o'-lanterns that are going to light up the night now through the end of October. And the pumpkins are so impressive. They're intricately carved into cats and scarecrows and other Halloween shapes, and they line the pathways throughout the zoo. So you can visit Racine Zoo on Thursdays to Sundays in October for their jack-o'-lantern nights. Or if you want to head north to Sheboygan, families are really going to love Happily Haunted at Bookworm Gardens. So if you're not familiar with Bookworm Gardens, it's a botanical garden that's themed after popular children's books. So it's a great year-round destination. But for Happily Haunted, they have a really impressive light display, a pumpkin walk, themed stories, scavenger hunts, many more family-friendly activities. And those events take place Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, starting October 11th, and they run through the end of the month. But if you are a thrill seeker, definitely head to Road America. They are hosting Wisconsin Fear Fest. They have 3 different haunted houses to experience. They all have their own chilling theme, and the scares are going to get your heart racing faster than the cars that drive the famed track.
There is something sort of inherently scary about old stuff and about Old World Wisconsin. It's a pretty cool place to be at night as well. I think it'd be a little creepy even without the extra stuff and the decorations that will be there for Legends and Lore. So to me, Old World Wisconsin is kind of the perfect place to host a Halloween event. But for each of you, why would you recommend people check out Legends and Lore and make sure it's part of their Halloween bucket list?
So I agree with you that there is something inherently scary about old stuff, and our staff really leans into that for Legends and Lore. It is everyone's favorite event. We love being able to showcase our site after dark. We love being able to explore different sides of history and connect with people in a way that is fun and engaging. We also love that this event is really great for families. We are spooky, but not too scary. We really want everyone to have a great time. We really want to highlight the things that make Wisconsin such an interesting place to learn about. I would definitely recommend coming to Legends and Lore this year. Get your tickets early. We often sell out. You can get those on our website, and we hope to see you there.
It's so great to see how Wisconsin's communities and attractions embrace every season and they offer something different. So if you've been to a destination in summertime, it can have a completely new feel in the fall, and Old World Wisconsin is a perfect example of that. So if you have taken in the summertime fun at Old World Wisconsin, you still probably haven't heard those folkloric tales by candlelight or some of the other experiences that Maria just shared about. So I really love that Legends and Lore celebrates the Halloween season in such a spirited way in more than one sense. And it reminds us that Wisconsin isn't static. There's always something fresh and unexpected to take in. And sometimes that might be a sorghum maze or the goatmen of Kettle Moraine. So definitely make plans to visit Old World Wisconsin this fall. And if you're looking for other ideas, you can plan your Halloween getaway at travelwisconsin.com.
That was Amanda Weibel, Communications Officer for Travel Wisconsin, and Maria Kaminsky, General Manager of Experiences at Old World Wisconsin. They both joined Lake Effect's Becky Mortensen for our series Wandering Wisconsin. You can find more travel recommendations at WUWM.com.